Welcome back, deep divers. Today, we're going down a rabbit hole, but a unique one. We're diving into moon landing conspiracy theories.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
I love this stuff.
But
What are we looking at today?
there's a twist. Our main source today
Okay.
is a Chinese language video.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
You don't often see that perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see this topic.
Yeah.
But before we jump in,
Okay.
we're not here to say whether any of this is true or not.
Right.
We just want to look at the arguments and,
Yeah. Explore them.
explore why people,
Yeah. Why they resonate.
why they believe them, right?
Exactly.
So, argument number one from the video.
Okay.
They say it would have been technologically impossible to land on the moon in 1969.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
And they compare the technology of 1969 to a Nintendo Entertainment System.
Oh, wow. So basically they're saying...
But imagine playing Super Mario Bros. And suddenly you're on the moon.
That's a funny way to put it, but it does raise a good point about the technology back then, Think about it, the Apollo guidance computer, the computer that ran the whole mission. Less powerful than a calculator today.
That just blows my mind. Like, we can't even get Wi-Fi to work half the time.
I know, right?
And they were landing on the moon.
It's incredible.
But the video goes on to write. And they bring up that Israeli lunar lander that crashed.
Oh, yeah, in April.
Yeah, this year.
Just a few months ago, yeah.
As proof that even today,
It's still hard.
landing on the moon is really, really hard.
For sure. Think about it. Pinpoint navigation,
Right.
avoiding all those craters and rocks. Then you got to have a perfect controlled descent.
Yeah.
And then a soft touchdown. Otherwise, you're toast.
It really makes you appreciate the skill it took, right?
Absolutely. It's like threading a needle while riding a roller coaster.
That's a good analogy.
It is, isn't it?
Okay, so then the video says
Yeah.
only 3 countries have ever landed spacecraft on the moon.
Right. The U.S., USSR,
And China most recently.
Yeah, and all those U.S. and USSR landings are way back when.
In the 60s and 70s.
So the video asks this question. Why hasn't anyone else done it in 50 years?
Yeah, that's a great question.
It makes you wonder, right?
It does.
They even joke that maybe the U.S. had
Alien help?
alien technology.
Haha, maybe.
So next they talk about money.
Okay, the cost of going to the moon.
Yeah, they say it costs so much.
That other countries might not even want to try.
But then they say,
Wait a minute.
yeah, there's
Stop
something
making
else.
you old pride.
They're saying that some countries, it's almost like bragging rights, right?
Oh, absolute.
To be able to land on the moon.
It's like the ultimate flex, right? Like, look what we can do.
And it would be a huge propaganda win.
Totally, like the space race back in the day, remember? The U.S. versus the USSR.
Oh, yeah.
It was more than just science. It was about global dominance.
Showing off, basically.
Exactly. It was like, we're the best. We can get to space.
Yes, exactly.
And the video gives a really interesting example of how much some people want to get to space.
Lay it on me.
That Japanese billionaire, what's his name?
Isaku Maezawa, yeah.
He paid $100 million just to orbit the moon.
That's wild.
They didn't even land.
I know, right? Just to go around it?
If someone's willing to spend that much just to orbit.
Imagine what countries would spend to actually land.
Exactly.
Wow.
So the video's point is, sure, it's expensive, but...
But it's not just about money.
Right, it's got to be something else too, right?
Definitely.
Okay, so now let's move on to the next argument in the video.
Okay, what's next?
This one is about how easy it would have been to fake the moon landing back in 1969.
Oh, here we go.
Because, think about it, no internet,
Right.
there were just a few TV channels, and, everyone pretty much got their news from the same places.
It would have been easier to control the narrative.
Way easier.
Makes you think
It really does.
about how much we can trust what we see and hear,
I know, right?
especially back then.
So this leads us to the most famous moon landing conspiracy theory of all time.
The granddaddy of them all.
The Stanley Kubrick theory.
Ah, yes, the master filmmaker himself.
They think he directed the whole thing.
Faked the moon landing, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta hear.
So the video talks about this French mockumentary.
A mockumentary, so not a real documentary.
Right, it's fake.
Yeah.
But it's made to look like a real documentary.
Okay, I'm following.
And it's all about how Kubrick faked the moon landing.
Clever.
Yeah. And get this, they even have interviews in the mockumentary with real U.S. officials.
No way! Like who?
Donald Rumsfeld,
Whoa!
Alexander Haig,
Seriously?
and even Henry Kissinger.
That's crazy.
I know, right? But the thing is, they used clips from other interviews.
Okay, so they weren't actually talking about the moon landing?
Nope, it was all just clever editing.
Sneaky.
But it makes it seem more convincing, right?
Oh, for sure.
So anyway, this mockumentary focuses on Kubrick's film Barry Lyndon.
I've heard of that one.
He had to film a lot of scenes with very low light.
Challenging.
Yeah, and so they say he got this special lens from NASA.
A special lens.
Yeah, and they're saying that he used that same lens.
To film the fake moon landing.
Exactly.
Wow, the lengths they go to.
I know. And in the mockumentary, they even find this top secret document from Kubrick's widow
Oh, come on.
that supposedly proves he was involved.
Of course they did.
But it's all fake.
Right, because it's a mockumentary.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then they give this hilarious reason for why they had to make the real moon landing and the fake one at the same time.
Wait, what? They had to make two?
Was supposedly right.
Why?
They said it was because of time constraints.
Haha. That's ridiculous.
Like faking a moon landing is something you can just squeeze into your schedule.
Exactly. Like, oh, I've got a dentist appointment and then I got to fake the moon landing.
No.
That's hilarious.
But here's the real kicker. The whole documentary was an April Fool's Day joke.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, it was all a big prank.
Wow, they got me.
They got a lot of people.
That's brilliant.
But it makes you wonder, why would those high-ranking officials even agree to be in it?
Yeah, even if it was a joke, that's weird.
Right. It's like, what does that say about,
About how people in power use the media?
yeah, and how we perceive truth?
That's a whole other rabbit hole.
You could go down that one another time.
Definitely.
But for now, let's get back to the video.
Okay, back to the moon landing arguments.
They have this whole section about scientific evidence against the moon landing.
Oh. Like what?
Well, they talk about the moon rocks.
The ones the astronauts brought back.
Yeah, and they say that when scientists analyze them,
Mm-hmm.
they found that they're basically the same as Earth rocks.
Wait, what? So they're saying the moon rocks aren't real?
That's what they're implying, yeah.
Like, how?
Their argument is that the conditions on the moon are so extreme.
Yeah, the temperature, the radiation.
Right, and all the meteorite impacts.
It's a harsh environment.
They're saying that should have created unique rocks.
So the moon rocks should be different from Earth rocks.
Exactly.
But the video claims they're not.
Yeah, and that's why they think the moon rocks are fake.
Interesting.
It's a lot to take in, right?
That is.
We've gone from technology to national pride to fake documentaries, and now we're talking about rocks.
It's like a roller coaster of conspiracy theories.
It really is.
And each one makes you question.
What's real and what's not.
Exactly.
Okay, brace yourself, because the video's last argument is the wildest one yet.
Okay, lay it on me.
They say the moon landing was real,
Wait, really?
but the footage we saw, that was faked.
Okay, I'm confused now.
They think they faked it to cover up an alien encounter.
Whoa. They went there.
They did. They're basically saying the astronauts found aliens on the moon.
And the government's been hiding it ever since. Wow, that's next level.
I know, right?
So they're saying the moon landing was real, but the footage we saw was staged to hide the aliens. Mind blown.
This is where it gets really interesting. They connect this theory back to that Kubrick mockumentary.
The one we were talking about before.
Yeah, they say the fake footage was actually a backup plan.
A backup plan? For what?
In case something unexpected happened on the moon.
Like finding aliens.
Exactly. Like imagine you're NASA, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're sending people to the moon.
That's a big deal.
You'd want to have a plan B just in case.
It's in case of aliens.
Right. Like what if the astronauts find something they're not supposed to see?
I guess that makes sense.
So they filmed this fake moon landing just in case they needed to cover something up.
That's a wild theory.
It is, but it makes you think, right?
It does.
And the video even jokes that because of this whole fake moon landing thing, it's actually easier for aliens to visit Earth now.
How so?
Because if anyone takes a picture of a UFO...
People will just say it's fake.
Exactly. They'll say, oh, remember the moon landing?
Yeah.
That was fake too.
So we've accidentally created the perfect cover for alien visits.
That's what they're saying. It's like we've made ourselves blind to the truth.
Wow, that's a scary thought.
It is, isn't it? But we'll leave you to ponder that for now.
Plenty to think about.
We'll be back soon to dive even deeper into these arguments and see what else we can uncover.
Can't wait.
Stay tuned.
I'm hooked.
Me too.
So before the break, we were talking about aliens.
Right, and how this whole fake moon landing thing could actually be helping them visit Earth.
It's like we've accidentally given them the perfect cover story.
Yeah, any UFO sighting, people will just dismiss it as another hoax.
Oh, that's just another moon landing, they'll say.
Exactly. It makes you wonder,
what else we might be missing.
yeah, if we're so quick to dismiss things as fake, what else are we ignoring?
It's a bit unsettling, isn't it? This whole culture of distrust.
It is, but let's back up a bit to something you mentioned earlier.
Oh, about the Kubrick documentary.
Yeah, those interviews with the U.S. officials.
Rumsfeld, Kissinger, all those guys.
It just seems so wild that they would even agree to be in it.
Well, remember, it was a mockumentary.
Right, a fake documentary.
So those interviews were probably taken out of context.
Like they were saying something completely different.
And the filmmakers just edited it to make it look like they were talking about the moon landing.
So sneaky.
It's all about creating that illusion, making it seem believable.
But still, it's pretty clever.
Oh, absolutely. It plays on our fascination with conspiracies and government secrets.
And it makes you think twice about everything you see on TV.
Right,
Yeah.
sure. You got to be careful what you believe.
Okay, let's switch gears for a second and talk about those moon rocks.
The ones the video claims are fake.
Yeah, they say they're no different from Earth rocks.
But I thought scientists had already proven that those moon rocks are authentic,
They have. There have been tons of studies.
showing that the moon rocks have a unique chemical composition, minerals you don't find on Earth.
So what's the video's deal then?
Well, they could be oversimplifying things or maybe even twisting the facts a bit.
To fit their narrative?
It's possible, remember, they're trying to entertain and provoke thought.
Not necessarily to be scientifically accurate.
Right, so take it with a grain of salt.
Always good advice.
But it's still interesting to consider their perspective, to see
Yeah.
how they interpret the evidence.
Even if it's not entirely accurate.
Well, sometimes looking at things from a different angle can be enlightening.
Even if that angle is a bit,
Out there.
yeah, exactly. Which brings us back to the alien theory.
The big one.
The idea that the moon landing was real, but the footage was faked to hide aliens.
It's a mind-boggling concept.
It really is, but it taps into something primal, doesn't it?
Our fear of the unknown, maybe? Our fascination with extraterrestrial life?
And maybe a little bit of distrust in authority, the feeling that they're not telling us everything.
Oh, for sure. That's a big part of it. The idea that governments are hiding things from us.
And the video's point about how this whole fake moon landing thing has actually made it easier for aliens to visit us.
Because we'll just assume any UFO sighting is a hoax.
It's almost like we've created this self-fulfilling prophecy, right?
We don't believe, so we don't see.
It's a bit of a mind trip, isn't it?
It is. It makes you question everything.
So where does that leave us? After all this talk of conspiracies and cover-ups, what are we supposed to believe?
Well, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? We get to decide for ourselves.
We've heard the arguments, we've seen the evidence. Now it's up to each of us to weigh it all and come to our own conclusions.
And that's what critical thinking is all about. Not blindly accepting what we're told, but examining the information for ourselves.
So should we believe the moon landing was faked? Were there aliens on the moon?
Those are questions only you can answer.
We've given you the pieces of the puzzle, and now it's up to you to put them together.
And who knows, maybe in the process of solving this puzzle, you'll discover something even more fascinating.
That's the beauty of exploration, right? You never know what you might find. So where do we go from here? We've explored these moon landing conspiracy theories, heard all the arguments, laughed at some of the more outlandish claims. But how do we approach this topic moving forward?
Well, it's like we've been given all these puzzle pieces, right? We have to figure out how they fit together, or if they even belong in the same puzzle at all.
It's true. We've got all this information, but it's up to us to decide what to make of it all.
And that's where critical thinking is so important, questioning what you see and hear, not just taking things at face value.
So don't just blindly believe everything or disbelieve everything. It's about being curious, asking questions, looking at things from different angles.
Exactly. It's about engaging with the information, not just passively consuming it.
And that's what makes these conspiracy theories so interesting. They make you think critically.
They challenge your assumptions.
They make you wonder if maybe, just maybe, there's more to the story than we've been told.
It's like we're detectives trying to unravel a mystery.
Following the clues, wherever they may lead.
And sometimes the most unexpected clues lead to the most amazing discoveries.
Well, I think we've successfully navigated our way through this maze of moon landing conspiracy theories. What's your final thought for our listeners before we wrap up this deep dive?
Just this, stay curious. Keep asking questions and never stop exploring. The universe is full of mysteries, and who knows what we might discover if we keep our minds open.
And remember, the next time you look up at the moon, let it be a reminder to not only wonder, but to think critically as well. Until next time, keep diving deep.